Welcome to the MT podcast. It's myself, a buddy in the building, aka The Truth. And alongside me, we have...
Man like citrus. Yeah.
Next to Citrus.
Yo.
Took too long.
It's the citrus in the house. And we're running the show.
You took too long, bro.
No.
Alongside Mr. Citrus, we have...
Mr. Wileycat DJ.
I thought we had a slogan this week.
No slogan.
Bruv.
No slogan.
Do you know what? No. It's
No
fine.
slogan.
It's
Go
fine.
on.
It's fine.
Jesus, look.
One hand.
And next to one hand. Next to
No,
one
not
hand.
one hand. One hand.
One hand. Next to one hand, that's what I'm calling for the rest of the show.
One hand.
Next to one hand, we have...
Sirelli, ever so slightly broken.
Perfect. And today we have the topic of banter versus bullying. And there is a lot to get through. So, banter, bullying, you guys.
Same.
So you think it's the same?
Bro,
Right.
you're hosting.
I didn't even get to...
Throw your things.
I didn't even get to start with my definition. So what I wanted to know is the definition, or what you see as the definition of banter. I'll start with Mr. Sirelli, as you've got the loudest mouth in the room.
Thank you very much.
We'll work with you.
So, banter, for me, is almost like a rite of passage. It's sharpening your tools, giving you the ability to adapt to your environment around you. So, the reason why I say it that way is because I believe that everybody, first of all, should work in retail when you're young. Forget the money. Forget the waking up early, any of those things. However, when I worked in retail when I was still studying, it had to be one of the sharpest times of my life. You had to be on point because Saturday morning when you get into the warehouse or you get into the shop or wherever it was on fire. People were just firing at you. You had to be sharp. You had to be alert. And it would always come from some dead person that you never thought was that kind of intuitive, off the cuff kind of person. So for me, yeah, it sharpened me on a next level. So for me, banter is one of those things that you have to have. It helps you develop your social skills. It helps you deal with awkward situations. It's just great. It is one of the best things.
Wileycat.
Banter and bullying. Bullying is offensive. It is putting someone down. And bantering is joking. That's the real difference between the two of them. They blur into very, very similar things, but dependent upon the person receiving it. But bantering is joking amongst each other. Bullying is negatively putting someone down to be offensive towards them. That is what the two things are.
Okay. Citrus.
I'm going to flip it straight to you, bro. You can't start a podcast and not give us the definition of what you're talking about.
I'm asking the definition from you guys, or what you perceive.
My definition is, what is your definition?
Well, no, I can give you the actual definition because I'm looking at it.
All right.
Brilliant. So
This is cyberbullying stuff, right? So go for it. What's the definition?
no, I want to hear what your
So my definition of
What's your
banter-
perception?
yeah.
My definition of banter is there's a giggle at the end of it. My definition of bullying is someone is hurt, offended, or insulted.
Okay. So I'll give you the definition of banter. Noun. The playful and friendly exchange of teasing remarks. This was much good-natured banter. A verb. Exchanging remarks in a good humor, teasing way. All right? So that's what they said. The origin of the word banter, which is something I'm going to throw in there, because it was like, I did the research on it, and I said the origin of the word, where it came from. So the origin of the word banter remains obscured, although it appears to have started life in England about 300 years ago as a verb. Its origin meaning was to tease or ridicule using an aggressive manner.
That's my definition of Wiley.
To be fair, I think that thing has changed recently. I don't think it's the same definition as it is now.
Where do you get that? Why would you say that?
Because I don't think you necessarily have to be aggressive to get that point across.
What do you mean?
So, could you read the last part of what you just read there again, please?
Give me 2 seconds. I'll bring it back up. It says its original meaning was to tease or ridicule using an aggressive manner.
Right. So the aggressive manner is what I say has changed, because you can do banter now and laugh and smile while you're doing it. It doesn't have to be aggressive. It's just how the person receives what you're saying. So I have a friend, and we used to have a lot of banter, and one of the things we used to do, and I think even Citrus kind of came into this era at some point, where we would have banter by complimenting you. Oh, you're the best. You are the great. You're the smartest. And that was it. But it got to the point now where the compliments became
Negative, innit?
a negative thing. Mm-hmm. But it was said in the nicest way. Oh, you're so smart. Oh, you are the best. And it's...
So someone would say something, and I'll be like, genius. So straight away, you're like, I'm not a genius, obviously. But rather than say you're not a genius or smartest, do you know what I mean? So these were the one-liner words. Do you get what I mean?
It depends on how it's said. And it, I mean...
Like I said, it's not in an aggressive way.
Insightful.
It's uncomfortable. Uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. We're
Confused.
You're bantering me or you're bullying me
I
right
was
now.
just
Like,
giving you an example, bro.
Yeah, you know, I need
I'm
to
gonna
big
go
up
with the example thing, innit?
Cliff Online. I have to big him up because Cliff is one of them champions when it comes to giving bants. Yeah, there's many a times we go too far with the bants where I'm like, yeah, I'm not playing no more. I tap out with these bances because it just gets beyond the joke. But carry on with what you're saying. Do you know there's not actually a legal term for bullying?
Well, you know what? I was coming to that, and it's funny because I was gonna ask, but I won't drag it out and ask everybody what's your interpretation of bullying. But I'll give you a quick
Sorry to jump in, bud, but you know I'm helping you out today. Shout goes out to Nasir Shay and Shez Bubbles, and also Wealth.bar, and AI Brooklyn, Little Miss Attitude, Rain _Nelson _445, Nirvana Sang, Kirsty Braid, Michael Tasman, Clifton 313, Debbie Debs is also on the live. Hello Debs. Jack Skimkin, that's a one tongue twister. Lady Louise, Special _K, Livy 9111, Ray Dre, that's your people, innit?
Go work with it.
I'm GBH, Vanessa, A Taste of UK Flavour, Special Entertainment, shout goes out to Troubles, Stamina, Chenoir, and Bella. So we're cooking right now.
We're cooking, yeah?
Yeah.
So back to Relly's point real quickly. So that you're right. In the UK, there is no legal definition of bullying. However, it's usually defined as a behavior that is repeated, intended to hurt someone either physically or emotionally, often aimed at certain groups, for example, because of race, religion, gender, or sexual orientation. And that's just an example of some of them, all right? Which, funny enough, as much as they say those things aren't, race is obviously something that you can be prosecuted for. Religion, I don't believe you can.
Or hate crime. Any hate crime.
Hate crimes. Yeah, so there you go. So it kind of says it isn't, but it is. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, bullying within a friend group, unless this guy's busting up, so somebody on the line said something funny, but within friend groups, there is always lines that are slightly blurred and may become crossed, like on certain points. There are points that we are made probably even between each other that I know to myself, probably even on the lives, funny enough, that we've pushed boundaries. And some of them are taken as general, like, oh, you know what, I can take that. It's my friend saying it or my family saying it, so we're good. And some will sit there and say, oh, you know what, it hurts. So when's the point where you realize that you have to stop, or do you just keep on going?
So, in short, the question is when does banter turn into bullying?
So I would answer that by saying that there's so many factors that would impact that. So, for example, if I looked at Buddy and I said, Buddy, you look like my middle toe, bruv.
Ross.
Let's have a sexy middle toe, you know.
Bruv, his middle toe's got gangrene.
Bruv.
Brother, and it's longer than the rest of them.
Anyway.
So, depending on how I deliver that and how often I say this to you, now, you can take it one of two ways. You can look at it and say, he's been an idiot. Or you may go home, see a picture of my toe, look in the mirror and go, there's a little bit of truth to that.
That's not
That's
fair.
disrespect.
That's straight away, bruv. You
Why is it
started it
disrespect?
because you started the thing on a disrespectful
if
thing.
there-
you
if
got the
there is
energy
some-
of me straight
If
up.
there
on that
is
bollocks.
some truth to it, is it really disrespectful?
Yeah.
Brother, yes, it's
Why is it
far.
disrespectful?
Wiley
Because you look like a toe.
Because
Bruv,
middle toe, my middle toe.
you've hit the nail on the head. At the end of the day, whether you look like someone looks like a toe or not, regardless, it's a detrimental term you're giving him. So it's not like to say it's a positive. You're not saying,
But
oh, you know what?
I like my toes.
You may like your toes, but calling someone a toe is a detrimental term. So you can't make that
I
into a
like taking
positive.
shit. It don't mean to yourself all of a sudden. I would say, oh, you
can't
like
turn it into a
shit.
positive.
And then
No
all of a
way.
sudden turn it into a positive. That's bollocks,
But
bruv.
if there is truth to it, you're the truth. If there is actual truth to it,
You look like shit.
But
I like taking shit.
Lord.
Bruv, he's on some foolish shit.
no, wait. We have to be honest about this. A lot of the time when banter is said,
No, I'll tell you what the difference is. Banter and bullying are first cousins, right?
true,
And my line is, I could say to my brother whatever I want because I have an established relationship with my brother to be able to say what I want. And they know it's banter. However, if you bring someone new into our environment and I turn around and use the Sirelli bar, you look like my big toe.
Jesus.
Or my middle toe, immediately offence is caused.
Of course.
Why? Because we don't have a relationship like that for you to be making them kind of terms, even if it resembles some form of weird truth in Sirelli's warped
Weird,
brain.
warped, disgusted mind.
So
Brother,
at
that's not
that point,
Get out of here, bruv. You ain't got a freaking dog in this fight.
let me put my toe out.
at that point, it's not. Do you know what I mean? That we don't have the relationship to be able to make a joke on this level. That's to a personal. It's a personal strike, isn't it?
Okay, let me see your point and raise you one. So, what would you say then when people go to a stand-up comedy show and that happens in that environment?
Now, there's a massive, due to the culture of stand-up comedy shows, you need to be aware that if you go into the environment...
And you look like a middle toe, he will call you out.
No, but the thing is, you say that, they won't. They won't. There's certain things that they will do, but there's certain things that they won't do. Because
Brother, what shows are you watching?
No. There's certain things that they will do, and there's certain things that they won't do. All right. And I know comedians, they will push the boundaries, but they're not going to turn and see someone go like
Just like Big Bird.
One second. And I'm going to address this later on. They won't see a midget, for example, on a bicycle. We'll address that later on. We'll address it later on. All right, and then turn and say to himself, "We're gonna make a joke out of it, and that's gonna be a big hoo-ha." All right, they will leave that alone because it's not something that they're gonna bring to the table.
Midget on the bicycle inside the show, he deserves to get taken the piss up.
Where,
Why are you in the show on a bicycle?
brother?
But that, you know what?
What type of bike is it? Is it a unicycle? Or I need...
Yeah. Let's move on.
We'll talk about the midget on the bike later on. But my point is, there's certain things that they'll
And
make
the word you're
jokes
looking
out
for
of.
is dwarf.
All right, listen. Anyway, we'll go on to that
But
later on.
it's so incorrect, you know that?
Leave me alone.
The truth, yeah?
Listen, there's certain things that they will attack and there's certain things that they won't. Because at the end of the day, there's certain things that are offensive in a way that will turn and you can see it will cause offense. You know what I mean? You're not going to attack somebody that you're going to say, oh yeah, a blind person, blah, 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 and this person's blind. Like, that's not nice. It's offensive. You know what I mean? A black person, blah, blah, blah.
But isn't that offence only down to your... And the question that I wrote is, are you thick or soft-skinned?
Good
Do you
point.
get what I mean?
Please explain. What do you mean by thick or soft skin?
So there are certain things... So I'll give an example. I know if I walked into Sirelli's family home, so not where he lives now, his mum's family home.
Yep.
The big house.
I'm expected mum to say, why's your belly fat? And where's your hairline gone? Straight away, I know I'm on the defensive. However, I'm not going to turn around and say, same as yours. Because we don't have the level of bants.
Why? Wait, why?
We
God,
don't have
you
the
gonna get
level of
uppercut.
bants.
God, you gonna get so
Imagine.
However, when mum does, and I can't even turn around and say his mum, my mum, and the three of you, or including Speedy, the four of you walk in there, you know straight away, for the first 10, 15 minutes, it's problems. And I get that. Buddy, I'll give you an example. This is bants versus bullying. Buddy came to my mum's,
This is bullying.
outside my mum's door,
Bullying.
right? And said, I'm not coming in because I didn't bring her Easter egg. He said this in June.
So he came up to the door, and just for people that know,
June?
your mum lives quite high, so
Yeah.
there's
And the thing is, when she looked out, she could see Buddy's face.
Hi, Mum.
And Buddy was on this, I'm not getting out because your mum's going to bully me. Huh? Then we met at a separate occasion and my mum was there. I didn't tell him my mum was coming. Just so I can observe. And he tried to do the whole, the huggy, kissy, kissy.
Shut up.
Let me go get you a drink, mum. She's like, don't call me mum. Leave me alone. Don't touch me. Do you know what I mean? Now,
It's a lie. Mum loves me.
to us, it was just bants. To anyone observing, someone was getting bullied. Do you get what I mean? So it comes down to the relationship and the rapport that you've built with the individual.
You see, the funniest thing is you say that was bullying. I actually
I
wouldn't
never said it was bullying. I said it could be observed as bullying.
I wouldn't even see that as bullying. I mean, I've been amongst bullies. There's things like the phrase says, it's things that are consistently done and consistently said and emotionally scar people. So, for example, let's use weight. All right, and I'll use two things. I'll use weight and I'll even use something in the room because three of you have it. Ball heads. Like back in the day, that was a big thing. Coming in, you got a bald head, Ross. Like, you got no hairline. You got no. All of a sudden, it's a big thing, and it was something that was like, if you haven't
Sexy and I know it.
but that's because But the funny thing is, and I'll use ball heads first before I use weight. But ball heads have been turned into a positive because now it's like a case of back in the day, you not having no hair. I swear to you, if we came down to our 20s, you'd have been laughed at all the time. Where you was laughed at and you ain't got no hair, you ain't got no hair. Somehow or another, it became into a thing. Oh, girls like this, and it's okay. Like,
Only because as we got older, the tides change, innit?
well, this is it. But
So what becomes attractive changes.
change.
and if
But
I'm being
going
totally
to
honest with you,
schools-
confidence also has a big thing to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
going
you,
to school.
no, you couldn't be a bald-head 15-year-old and chat to me in school. That's a mad thing.
That's a
Yeah,
mad
but that's
thing.
because at 15 you're not supposed to be
All right.
Imagine.
But if you're a bald-head at 15 in school,
Cuss out.
You're gonna get called alopecia.
He's the most effery's guy that we know.
Sirelli's a bully. Sirelli is a bully.
You should have full head of hair.
Bro, you know what?
At that age?
I know the lives are going nuts. I beg somebody to tell me something that's going on in the lives. I'm gonna call out Wiley because Wiley's sitting there looking at it. So I'm gonna call Wiley
Well,
to
the
tell
thing
me
is,
something.
it's not even people going mad on it. I mean,
It's
shouts out
subdued.
shouts out to Clifton. He says, "Mum's picking on friends is fair game. It's bants." And I think you've got to understand. It's not. I think when you're talking about bantering and bullying, you're looking at a certain thing, and you're looking at more. It's about the perception of the person receiving. The person receiving can determine whether that is bantering or bullying because they're the ones who will be the affected person.
Do you know
not,
what?
Not the person who's saying it.
I'll disagree with that as a person receiving because it could be the person observing. Do you get what I mean? So, Wiley, you might cuss me out. And I'm laughing. However, we're in a group full of people that is like, why has that guy spoken to that guy that way? That guy's a bully. Now, even though I'm laughing or I might be involved in trying to give as good as I'm getting, what it comes down to is our relationship ain't their relationship. So because of that, I see it as every time I see Wiley's going to cuss me out because every time I see him, I cuss him out. And if he gets me today, that's him. Because tomorrow, I'll get him back. Do you get what I mean? But these people observing are going to be like, oh, they're just bantering each other.
Yeah.
But someone who may take offense could turn, especially in an environment that's sensitive, like the workplace, could say, no, that's bullying. I've observed Wiley bullying Citrus, which actually is a thing. This is anyone, just record this bit, just snapshot this bit, YouTube shorts, Wiley bullies Citrus.
Just
to be
especially
clear,
when
though,
he's playing music.
Yeah, just to be clear though, I think I would disagree with you on the point of if you're saying that someone is bullying and someone is feeling like they're bullied, regardless of whether or not they voiced it out. Voicing it out doesn't take away the feeling they have. So they may be laughing, it may be a nervous laughing, they may be laughing because they can't voice it out anyway. It's what they're feeling from it. And at the end of the day, if they don't voice out their bullying, doesn't mean they're not being bullied. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's necessarily about them saying, you know what, yes, I've been bullied and you know, I'm taking a stand for it. I think it's more about the person actually feeling what they're feeling, and whatever they're feeling, that is what really is the subjective matter of it. That's where their subjective view of it is what is important. The person is receiving it, not the one who's saying it.
See, to me, the bullying comes from whatever's being said. So I'm in agreement with you.
I disagree.
What's being said?
Yeah.
So, do you know what? What's being said will hurt me. All right. Now, the audience.
But that could depend on what side of the bed you woke up on today.
No, but what's being said is the one that's hurting me. I don't care about Citrus laughing at me and Wiley laughing at me. I care about what you just said to me. So let's give a scale, all right? So we got something to go on. So you now walk in and go, what's going on, fat boy? And then this one goes, blows up, starts laughing. This one's laughing. What's hurt me or irritated me was the fact you walked in and said, what's up, fat boy? And I'm like, I'm not fat. And you're like, yeah, you are. You're man boobs.
Say again. Say that bit again, because I need.
Yeah, we need.
You're like, say it again so I can just do a quick short on it.
It's just
But the thing is, but
it's just bants. It's just
bants. But it could be on that day you didn't go gym. So any other day you went gym in the morning, you come out of the gym, you feel good. So me saying to you, "Walk on, fat boy," or me saying, "Walk on, titty boy," it's not gonna ban you because you've been to the gym that day, your body's feeling taut, you're like, I'm good. However, today you didn't go to the gym. You took a donut and came to the meeting. And I'm like, walk on, titty boy. And now, because you're emotionally sensitive, you put the donut down, you're sitting in the corner, you don't want to partake in the meeting, you're sulking. And I'm like, what's wrong? And you're like, oh. And I'm like, bruv, for the last 6 months, I call you titty boy in the morning, no big thing. You're like, yeah, watch tomorrow. But today, all of a sudden, because you didn't go gym, you're emotionally unstable and you're emotionally offended.
This is classic symptoms of a bully. This is a bully. This is the fat boy
Ross.
in the freaking
Ross.
in the Rescuers. If you lot watched the Rescuers when you was younger, this is the bully. This is
When you say when you was younger, what?
This is the guy that Bart Simpson was scared of. This is the bully, bruv.
Nelson.
Nelson. I was looking for his name in my head. This is Nelson. I'm gonna call him Nelson for the rest of the time.
Is it because I called you titty boy?
Because no, listen. You're sitting there saying to yourself, "Oh yeah, because you put the donut down and you never went gym. Oh, yeah, that's why you feel that way." You sitting there saying that to me is offensive, bruv. And I've got.
But you had no problem any other day,
brother. I had a problem every single day. I just never expressed it to you, my brother.
Then how am I supposed to know?
Because I've sat there and you could see Citrus is laughing, Wiley's busting up, Speedy's in the corner just shaking up. I'm a screenshot this. Just keep on saying what you're saying so I can send it and make it go viral.
But if you've never said to me that calling me titty boy offends me, then how am I supposed to know?
Have you not got no emotional intelligence then, bro?
But we are boys. We bounce each other. If you come one day and you don't comb your hair and you don't wash your face, and I say, you look like my middle toe today, and you're like, bruv, you know what? I'm just not feeling well. We're just using it for an example. Everything I say, you're taking it personal. First, I called you my middle toe, you took offense. I called you titty boy, you take offense. Where do you want me to go with this?
Nelson, leave me alone.
Well,
anyway.
Shouts out to Nashisha on the live. She says, it crosses a line when a person on the receiving end can say they don't like it where the banter is going and the person giving the banter doesn't immediately stop or change their banter.
Exactly. So if you don't say, I don't know.
Nah, ban that. You can tell me stop.
No.
I ain't stopping.
Bully.
Bro.
Now this,
I ain't stopping.
this
I ain't
is
stopping.
the bully.
I ain't stopping.
This, now
I ain't
listen,
stopping.
you're the truth. That is the bullying.
Wait,
I
wait,
didn't know.
Wait.
I was calling you titty boy
Wait.
just because I've been calling you
One
that.
second. One second. What's wrong with Sirelli?
Nelson.
Underscore Nelson. What is wrong with... What's wrong? Put a rain clap in there. But no, the thing is, once again, it comes down to the relationship. I really think it does. Do you know what I mean? It definitely does come. It comes down to the relationship. There are things that I know if I want to get under Buddy's skin, I could drop 1 or 2 lines.
One-liners.
And he's already up in his feelings.
Both of you can piss off.
He's up in his feelings. However,
What, like he is right now?
Yeah. So
Rub me ties, boy, rub me ties.
So, me, I wouldn't do that. That's not me. That's definitely me.
Brother, right now, can you stop saying things like this because the internet's going to cut out? Did you say it's not you?
All I'm saying is, when you're dishing it out,
Hold your own.
I'll ask you, are you sure? Is this the direction that we're going in? Because when the reverb comes back, just understand this is where we are. Now, if, for example, and I get Sirelli's point, if the term titty boy, which I don't actually like, but if it works really well. If that term offends Buddy or Wiley, and then they come and talk to me in a calm one and say, you know what, when you say things like that, I don't like it. I'll be like, bro, then maybe I shouldn't say it, innit? And then a week later, you get onto me. I mean, yo, TB. Let's not do this,
Because
innit?
it's opening, right?
Because right now, you've shown me the wound that I could target.
But is that banter between boys, or are you now sitting there bullying me because you know that's a
But
an
listen to
offensive
what he
remark
said.
to myself?
If you come for him, he's going to defend
So
himself.
now you're going to use it as a weakness, so you're going to bully me because you know my 1 second, my closest peers, and this goes out to
but-
1 second, really. 1 second. This goes out to everybody. All right, your closest friend. And now you tell your closest friends everything.
Insecurity
I
point.
tell you all my insecurities. Oh, I got this little spot.
Shouldn't we be united in union?
Right. So are you gonna now turn and say to yourself, 1 second, you're coming for me. Remember that secret you told me about the spot on your penis, yeah? Yeah, spotty? Like all of a sudden it goes.
I'm glad they put it over that.
Did you hear the sound effect as well?
I'm not even.
But now all of a sudden you're gonna sit there and say to myself, oh yeah, what it's cool because it's bants, bro. We're brethrens. I'll get out of it. That is bullying, bro. That's not a good friend, and that is bullying, bro.
You know,
You're
it sounds
bullying
like
me.
we need to redefine how we handle certain members because of the level of sensitivity. Do you know what I
What
mean?
day of the week it is. and-
Innit? I mean, certain man want to dish out ackee and saltfish, but ain't eating jollof rice. I'm just...
But,
You know
is,
what?
but
He's
is
like,
it?
shut
But is it? No. But is it sensitivity? Is it sensitivity if someone is not happy with something you're saying about them?
Come on.
No. But however...
Bants is war.
Yeah, but hold on. But
Let's call it what it is.
No,
If
yeah.
me and you are
Okay.
on a little battle thing right now, as the example we gave, I call him Titty Boy,
Yeah.
and it's like, what? You're going to call me Titty Boy in front of the man then? Yeah, you know what? You look like a thumb. And then it starts to go back and forth. I'm going to reach for whatever I think I can win with. You're playing top card, innit? You're playing trumps.
that's fine. But what you've just said, you've actually taken it into a. What if it's going back and forth? What if it's not going back and forth? What if it's you're bantering on one person and everyone seems to banter on that one person? So it's not necessarily like to say that, oh, it's a back and forth dual thing. You're bantering with someone, they may laugh it off, they may not even be jumping involved in it as much. But because you're bantering with them, they don't want to seem like they're the victim. So they're not saying nothing, they're laughing, ha ha ha, laughing at it. But they're actually being offended by it. But they can't approach you. So is that still banter?
So, Wiley, what about in the Mandem group where there is a line we know we're not supposed to cross? However, you've said something where I feel you've crossed the line, and I respond in a way where I know it's borderline bullying. But because everyone's smiling, laughing, and joking, it's only bants, bro. It's only bants, bro. But I know it hits below
The belt.
the sensitivity line. Buddy, I can't lie. Your sensitivity belt is probably around your neck. Maybe a noose rather than a belt.
Yeah. Do you know the worst thing is? I take the most when it comes to banter. I'm fine with it. It's cool. There's certain things. Shut up, you.
Wait.
And you.
The truth.
Bruv. There's so much.
We're struggling with the truth here right now. You know?
We're not struggling, bruv.
You want to change your name for this week's podcast?
Nah. I take the banter, bruv. The banter is the banter, innit? Banter, the jokes is the jokes. And I'm fine with the jokes, innit? It's fine. And the funniest thing is, one of the things I was going to bring up, and I will bring up later on, and I'll give you a little bit of time to think about it, but think about some of the things that have probably even come up in our MT group and say, what's the banter that's been used against yourself, and yourself? So all three of you lot in the room, all right? What banter has been used against you that you can sit back and say to yourself, it was banter, all right? And there's been ones used against me. I got loads. So I can say, I've got one already marked down, say, yeah, I'll use that one, that's fine, all right? It's banter and I can take it. It's jokes, all right? But there's times where it goes too far. There's been times, and I'll be very honest, there's been times where we have sat down around a table and I've probably either looked at you in your eye or looked at you in your eye and said, yo, I'm about to kick off. And I've looked you in the eye and said, like as if to say to you, tell him to stop now before I blow up. And you know that's happened. I know you know that's happened. And I'm sure you've seen me say it to you and looked you in the eye and said, please make him stop because I'm about to just blow up. And you don't know I'm going to blow up.
But that's your emotional side reacting.
It's my emotional side reacting, but it's because it's at a point where I realised to myself, this has gone beyond jokes and become bullying. This is a point that I'm sensitive about. So like if I go back to when I turned and said, the spotted dick, and you know this.
Let's say spotty sunkels, brother. I'm starting to feel a little bit bullied over it.
All right, sorry. Something's happened, innit? Like, and I've turned and said to you, don't talk about that. You know what I mean? And you've now he's brought it up, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm looking you in the eye saying, you know that's my soft spot. Why is he talking about it?
That's why he's talking about it, though. That's why he's talking about it.
But he's giving me bants about it, and he's sitting there going, yeah, this is why you can't get a girl. This is why you can't...
Which is exactly what... That's the point of bants, though, isn't it?
All right, but then...
To get a rise out of you.
Yeah, and it's got the rise. It's not the point of bants, because we went through the very first thing we did on this podcast, and I made sure of it, is we went through the rules of bants, and it was supposed to be humour, and it was supposed to be
Everybody else is laughing.
I'm not laughing. The person that's receiving it isn't laughing.
That's your choice.
It's not funny.
That's your choice. It's still funny, though.
It's not funny to me because it's personal to me. So if we go on to bullying, if you read on the definition of bullying, you're now being personal to me, and I don't like it. So when I've looked you in, I've actually looked the friend in the eye rather than even looking the person that's actually arguing with me. And I've looked that person in the eye. He ain't listening to me. He's in his world like, haha, Wiley's laughing. I'm good with this. I'm having my fun. 1 second. All right, I'm having my fun. I'm looking you in the eye of the laugher, and I'm saying Wiley or yourself. I'm like, tell him. Like, I'm not finding this funny. Like, I'm finding this offensive. I'm finding this as bullying. It's now, I'm trying to use you guys as the out rather than using him, because if I've looked him in the eye and he's like, I don't care. I'm not losing this battle. I'm just going to turn and tell him about his mum next. And rah. And I'm like, Russ, this guy's really not stopping because he wants to win the banter war, as you've put it earlier on. You know what I mean? He's going to be bantering until he wins. You know what I mean?
Now, I must admit, I agree with you. If something is said in... I don't want to say in secrecy, but in trust. And you reach for that when you're doing your bants or you're doing the I must win or the topper move, that is bang out of order. Because that was said in a different environment. So if I turn around to you and I say, you know what, brother, I'm broke. I have no money. I am financially on my face. Mm-hmm. And then we're having bants, and the first thing you reach for is to say, yeah, but right now, if I was to drive off and leave you, you can't even afford to get a bus home. Then, because I'm already in that vulnerable place, it's out of order for you to do that. Now, everybody else is laughing, ha, ha, ha. But for me, it's reality. So on that note, I totally agree. If you tell somebody something in a trusting environment, I'm telling you this as a friend, as I don't want it to go any further, and then you expose that, that's basically you exposing a truth or a secret that I've given you. That is weaponizing something that I've given you, and that's wrong.
Well, that touches on Security Golden's point, which says, I guess when you target a person's insecurities or vulnerabilities, it hits below the belt. And this is something, it ties into another question I was going to ask, which is, so if you're bantering me and I punch you in the face, Am I wrong for that?
Ross.
Because no,
Ross,
do you know what?
Ross.
No, do you know why? The reason I'm asking that. No, the reason I'm asking
Ross.
that. The reason I'm asking that
Ross.
is because
Should we give you a hug?
Banter.
Do you want a hug?
Between
the
friends,
reason
and you're gonna punch me in
reason
the face.
the reason
This
why
is why Wiley's not allowed at kids' parties.
maybe so. The reason why
is
I'm
why,
saying
this is
that.
why.
The reason why I'm saying that is I'm a great believer that
Violence wins.
if you let me finish, I'm a great believer that you can't determine someone's reaction. So you can't judge my reaction on your scale because you've made an action. If I now have my reaction, that's on my scale. So it may seem excessive to you, but for me, that would be my norm because that would be how I would take a disrespect.
So
Do you understand what I'm saying?
if I'm going to work with Wiley's level of reasoning, when I'm digging his grave, because he was joking about, do you know what I mean, my big belly. Yo, lad, pass me the spade. This is just bants. This don't make sense. There has to be a point before.
But here's the thing,
Between friends, there has to be a point before you get to yourself to the point where Buddy mentioned he might give daggers or the look to yourself or to the friend or whatever, to you thinking my next response is a cause of war by punching in the face. Because at that point, I'm pulling out a big chopper and cutting your neck. All of a sudden, what happened? There was only laughing and joking 8 seconds ago. He punched him, he stabbed him in the throat. This makes no sense.
And however, what you're saying there is if you're having bants among friends, but bants isn't necessarily only amongst friends. Bants can be in a workplace environment where people are working together, but they're not friends.
You see, it also brings us slightly on to our next point. And before I move on to it, there is something I wanted to say. Like, bullying and bants, they are very, like you said earlier on, they are very close, all right? And people don't realise to themselves, bullying is a really big thing. Bullying can lead to people committing suicide. Bullying can lead to people killing themselves just because of the fact of, you know what, I'm not happy that everybody laughed at me. I'm gonna kill myself. And it's such a big thing. But people are like, but it was only bants. It was only jokes. Like, and that's the defense that anybody would turn and put forward and say, it was only jokes. I was only joking with him. I only called him Titty Boy because, you know, I called him that last week and he was cool with it. So I just carried on calling him Titty Boy. Then Citrus called him Titty Boy and that's what happened. Now he killed himself. Or now they're not eating food. You know what I mean? Because why are they not eating food? Because they're really weight conscious enough to turn and say, you called me Titty Boy, now I don't want to eat food. I eat food and I go to the toilet and I vomit it up. Because I'm literally that conscious of what you lot are saying. It's bants. All right, cool. So now
There's something in my head that says, we're not allowed to talk to Buddy about.
it's Don't bring it to me, bro.
No, not you. I'll just say to Bants.
Why are you trying to bring it to me?
It's sensitive.
But this is the thing, and I suppose even relating to your point that the joke you're just making, there's sensitivity. Some people can take the sensitivity and say, oh, you know what? I'm not sensitive to it. It doesn't bother me, all right? But it might not bother me because I'm not the fat boy. I'm not that fat. You know what I mean? I might be that fat and I might be sitting there saying, right, are they sitting there just trying to give me digs right now and I'm not reading the digs? So you know what's going to happen tomorrow? I'm going to eat, but I'm going to throw it up. I'm not eating at all or whatever it might be.
What happens to love yourself and love your titties?
Not everybody can do that, bruv. And you got to appreciate that. So this is why even when you give out these jokes...
So is that my problem? I'm not saying I agree with it, but I'm just asking, is that my problem?
Yes, it's something you've got to be aware of, innit? And this is, I suppose, what the whole podcast is about. And when I brought it to the table, it was something I thought about to say to myself, you know what, there's so many people in here, all right, that we give out so much bants. I swear to you, MT World, my group of friends are full of bants. We're all full of bants. Like, we will give banter for no reason. You'll spit on the floor, we'll make a banter out of it. You'll brush your teeth, we'll make a banter out of it. We'll find something to banter about something. There's people we've been with as partners and so on and so forth that we will just banter with just for the sake of it. I mean, let's put it this way. At the beginning of the podcast, you called the freaking plant Bud. Why? It just bants, right?
I never named it Bud.
Bruv, you named it Bud. Anyway.
You know what? Next week's podcast, I'm going to bring this up again.
Bring the tape. Bring the tape. But this is the thing. We can make bants out of anything.
See how certain man is not quiet.
We can make bants out of anything, all right? And that's what my point is, that the bants is cool, but some people can't accept the bants. Some people are sitting there saying, oh, are you trying to say I'm insignificant? Are you trying to say this? Are you trying... And people overthink things, and you got to understand that people are sensitive to certain points. You know what I mean? And as a world, we're not sensitive to it. And the reason why I bring out the world is because I sit there and think to myself, what about cyberbullying? Now, this is a thing. This is a massive thing. Cyberbullying is something that we do and we don't even know we're doing it. Like, I do on an everyday basis and don't even realize I'm doing it.
Explain what cyberbullying is, please.
Cyberbullying could be...
Yeah,
I mean,
because you roped me into this we thing, and right now, I'm feeling bullied.
do you laugh at some of the memes that come out? So if somebody now walks into the room, the lighting falls on their head, and we now make a meme of it, it gets... I don't know, it goes around the world. It's got 100 million people viewing it, that the light fell on this guy's head. It fell on Jay's head as he walked past. Like, we're gonna just start busting up, all right? 100 million views. You're gonna send it out and share it to everybody else. Are you not sitting there laughing at it? Are you not cyberbullying? Because Jay might be sitting there saying, well, my equipment falling on my head.
No,
I
I
can't
just
believe
gave
that.
Jay, how many views did you say?
100 million.
I've just given Jay 100 million free ads for his studio.
But he's not seeing that way. I mean...
That doesn't change the point.
No,
That's what's happened.
It 100% does. Because let's use Dominic Soler. And I apologise for bringing up his name.
Call that
all
people's name.
But Dominic Soler...
You know what,
he's famous.
No,
He's famous. He's famous now. He's famous now. It's too late. All right, he's gone famous. All right, but every New Year's, everybody looked at me in the room and said, I know who Dominic Soler is. Why do you know who Dominic Soler is? You all know who he is because of what he did in I can't remember what year it was, all right?
Allegedly.
Allegedly, I watched the video. All right, this is when freaking camera phones were actually about.
It's allegedly.
Bro, it wasn't allegedly, bro. I saw it. All right?
It
was allegedly, because
I'm going to help you out. I'm going to help you out. There are a lot of people that do stuff that get caught online slipping in whatever way you want to look at it.
Yeah.
Right now, everyone in the room is focused on Buddy. So I'm trying to draw this same attention away. Just like all them people that are...
I don't want no help.
The ending of these potential viral videos. And the fact of the matter is, unless you do something miraculous, there is normally a victim within a viral video, right? In the darker side.
Let's use the word catalyst.
No. I'm going to go with victim.
So the last video that went around where now everybody's doing this flat chair thing.
The chair thing. I was coming to
There was a victim. There was a victim.
Who's the victim?
The woman who got hit by the chair.
But I don't know who the victim is. The chair is now famous.
This is my point.
The woman.
I don't know who the woman is.
No, but the fact of the matter
You don't
is,
need to know who the woman is.
you know she's the catalyst of that whole thing going viral because she got hit by the chair.
But when I look at the video, sorry, we need to give a little kind of meat to the bone. So somebody want to explain what this video is, or... Because I've only seen a little bit.
I'm forgetting where it was.
I'll tell you. So basically,
Alabama, yeah.
I'll tell you. Basically, in I can't remember it's in America.
Montgomery, Alabama.
Alabama. I thought it was Alabama.
That's good.
Yeah. I got no information. Not all the information.
He was there.
He was right there in it. So in Alabama,
The guy swimming.
The guy. There was one security guy, or the guy that was trying to get the boat stopped. He tried to dock the boat. All right, and the other guy's boats was in the way. He tried to tell them to move. They wouldn't listen to move. The guy wasn't having it. He said, I'm not moving. So he signals he doesn't signal, to be fair. he throws his hat in the air, and the next thing you know, all the guys from the original boat decide to jump the black dude. All right? It's blacks and it was white dudes, just to be fair. That's exactly what it was. And then all of a sudden, they jump him, they start beating him up. All of a sudden...
I'm going to say they start fighting.
Yeah, because I must admit, bud.
They started beating him up.
Describing something is not your strength.
They started beating him up. Next thing you know,
I mean, he weren't
man.
He weren't getting beaten up.
But he was getting shot. I watched about 10 different videos.
No.
He
He fought the first guy.
Yep.
They were fighting.
Yep.
The second guy rushed in
Yes.
and knocked him to the ground.
Yep.
He then left the first guy and started scuffling with the
Focusing
second
on
guy.
yeah.
He was on the floor.
Yes, and he was scuffling with the second guy. As he's scuffling with the second guy, the first guy's
No,
In
he
the
was on
meantime-
the floor
watch it
getting
again.
stabbed.
Watch it again.
He was on the floor getting beaten up.
Watch it again.
Then black guy
Alright.
comes in. Black guy comes in. I'm telling the story. You had your chance. Black guy comes in. All right.
Sounds like bullying.
Yep, safe. tries to separate the whole thing, comes in there, all right, hits a couple guys, then all of a sudden Aquaman comes across. I'm calling him Aquaman.
Doesn't do anything, by the way.
Bruv, he's
He don't do
Aquaman.
anything.
Don't do anything.
Bruv,
So Aquaman is a...
He doesn't do anything.
He doesn't do anything. Aquaman is a guy who jumps into the water from a boat, wherever he is, to try and go towards the situation to help, but it looks like the swim took it out of him.
He does get in the suck.
No.
He does.
So he gets to the other side.
And takes
I didn't recover time.
and takes his top off.
Wait, he never took his top off straight away.
He did. He takes his top off.
I don't
fam.
know. I
Watch the
don't
video
know. All I
again.
know is he bends over.
He swam 19 meters
Leave him
and
alone,
then
bro.
lost
I rate him the most.
his energy. Right?
Nah, bro.
But the effort behind the swim
Yeah.
is what I respect.
10 out of 10.
You know what?
Because what then happens, he gave the guy that was getting rushed, not the guy that was getting beaten up, he gives that guy energy. Because that guy then realizes my peoples are here. Because before the swimming guy reaches the dock, some dude comes down the stairs
about the dude?
who's not on beef.
Nah, he's
on
trying
trying
to...
to stop.
Yeah, he's on a kumbaya thing.
He's trying to stop the thing. That's buddy. That's buddy.
Just to,
I just said that, but then he
just
gets
to,
in the beef anyway.
I don't want to make it be the whole thing about the podcast about
no,
that.
we
But
need
to
to
clarify about the one who's swimming, he did get involved because he
Thank you.
power slammed. You'll see it in the video. He power slammed someone.
Wait, at what point?
At the point of when the second video is showing, you see him power slam.
Okay,
someone.
wait.
Thank you.
And the second video is after the first rush.
Don't mess with
happens.
Aquaman.
It's when the guy that's getting rushed takes his top off.
That's round
and
two,
dashes
bro.
it.
That's round two.
That's when Aquaman gets involved.
So the point we were making, that situation is absolutely right. After Aquaman does his little Olympic swim, he needs recovery time.
All right, let me finish.
He
let me finish.
pauses, does whatever he does. Then the second wave happens, like when you're playing a...
Let me finish.
computer game.
Let me finish. I want to finish what I was doing. All right. So next, after that, he called for the nation of domination. All right. They came flying in, right? Because we're gonna call them the nation of domination. They came in. They took off their tops. They went over and they said, "We're on crud." All right. After they went on to crud, all right. They then did their thing. They had a little scuffle. Then Stone Cold Steve Austin came out, got the chair, all right, smacked it over a man's head, all right.
Smacked everyone.
Bruv.
Yeah.
And then feds decided to
For the
break up.
purpose of this.
No,
And hit the
he
woman.
smacked
Nah,
at
he did
least
the woman.
four
Hit the
people.
man. Hit the woman.
The woman, it was the woman he got. And then
The
the
woman was
police,
sitting
the police
down.
said, allow it.
And she saw it coming from far. She put her hand up, like, no.
If you had freaking Jim Ross, all right, on the freaking commentary, he's like, he got the chair, he got the chair. Oh my
At
God.
first, you know when somebody's got the upper hand, they have that split second of, do I do this or not? He never had that. That little kind of judgment inside that says, okay, you've got utter and total control of this situation. Didn't kick in. He lifted the chair, thought about it, and said, yeah. I came down with the same force and tenacity of, I'm looking to KO the whole situation.
To be fair, you're right. Somebody else got the chair as well. While you're wrong. The first woman got the chair. Someone else got the
Three
chair.
people get the
Like,
chair, bro.
Yeah, a few, I just remembered in my head.
3 or 4 maybe.
Which is why the chair became such a prominent
Yeah.
feature. Like when you watch it, you remember Aquaman, and then you remember the chair. Oh, tell a lie. You do remember the hat dash.
hat.
Because
Yeah.
I don't
Signal.
understand why he did that.
Signal.
Signal.
Man them. Back
Yeah.
it.
We need to we need to have one, yeah?
Being bullied.
So are we
This
saying?
isn't Bants.
So are we saying the woman is not the victim in that then? Going back to the original point of what we was
Yeah, the chair got bullied.
There were many victims, to be fair.
I mean, you'd have to understand the whole argument, innit? And in all fairness, and all the jokes aside, you have to understand the whole reason of why it happened. And I don't even want to make it a racial thing because I don't even think it's down that type
No,
of aisle.
because further down the video, the Royal Rumble is everyone's getting leng.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
you and me and
Nah,
blah, blah, blah.
nah. It's now, I've always wanted to have a pub
But
fight.
watch it again, right?
let me
Watch
get
it again.
involved.
There's one guy who's slick, right? It's right near the end. When
Oh, he
chair
pushes-
guy's
pushes the-
getting
pushes
arrested,
the guy.
he
Pushes the woman.
slightly nudges
The woman.
into the
the water.
police.
No, into the police.
Oh, into the
He
police.
nudges
And
the
then
woman
the
into the
police
police,
went, "Do it."
and then the police slams the woman to the ground, but he's drinking like, woo.
You know the bit that got me is the woman that ended up in the water. I was like, when did this part happen? I just saw the big splash in the
Nah,
background.
the guy just goes
Guy
and
dashes
just,
the woman.
just flips it over.
That's a normal thing. That's a
so,
normal
Bants,
thing.
That one.
That went Bants. That went past
Bullying?
Bants.
However, do you want to hear something? Amazon, right, because they're clever,
So the chairs,
And
Amazon started selling chairs
the chairs,
and said striking black chairs.
bruv.
Do you know when that's genius?
Genius, bruv. I want to buy
I
a chair.
couldn't give a
I
shit.
don't even know why I want to buy a
I'm
chair.
gonna buy a striking black chair. Just so when Speedy comes to my house
That's when you pay
and
your
tries to teeth things.
marketing team top dollar.
Because it said striking black chair. I said, wait.
Do you know?
But it's not just Amazon, Walmart then decided to feature chairs at the end of 2 or 3 aisles. And I was like, I don't look arsehole, you know that. Anyone that sees the opportunity and works out how to capitalize on it, I'm in your team.
You know
But-
what was kind of, so taking it out of the dark side, bringing it into light. There's also part 2 spoof video that they've done where they got a group of people
And they reenacted
and
the
they
thing.
reenacted.
Yeah.
For me, that made me feel like, okay, humanity was brought back to life. Because for me,
It could have gone left.
it could have gone there. But to get a group of people to actually say, I'm going to role play with a group of white folk, a group of black folk, but we're going to do this thing over and do a spoof version, well done.
And I have to take that point as it's actually brilliant because you're right. It could have gone so far left because I saw it and I thought to myself, what if
Race
now
war.
all of a sudden we got a race war, whites versus blacks. We're all just gonna kick off. Well, where's the chair? We're gonna have the chair. We're gonna have the gun. We're gonna have this. And I'm like, right, wait. How has it gone this far so quickly off of this foolishness?
So is that spoof video banter then of the whole situation?
That's banter. The spoof video is
Not
definitely
if you're the
banter.
one that got licked by the chair.
No, but you say that. Even the guys that was involved in the fight, they turned and made a meme afterwards. I saw it on TikTok actually about 2 days
Was it
ago.
actually him? The one that got tissue up his nose?
Yeah,
And,
sorry, yeah.
Because a 65-year-old could throw hands.
Yeah.
So I didn't realise.
I thought, well done, because if he never did that, I'm sitting there saying, you racist this and rah, 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 and everybody's onto him. Now he done that, I don't see nothing in it. You know what I mean? Whatever.
It was
You know
just
what I mean?
entertainment for
was entertainment for that
2023, innit?
Yeah.
So this is going to be one of those ones that you file in the memes for 2023.
I'm waiting for the freaking rap video to come out so I can turn and say, yeah, let me watch that part, because that part's going to be jokes. So you know what I mean?
So you're part of the bully brigade.
Nah, bruv, the banter,
Buddy bully.
the banter, the cyber banter part. But this is the thing, it's very close.
Not if that was your mum.
I was about to say it's very close because very easily could that have turned into cyberbullying, because I'm surprised that people didn't take it on a different angle and turn and say, you racist this, watch when we see you, your house is getting this and your house is getting that and rah, rah, rah. Because like I said, it could have gone so far left that people can't even realize that all of a sudden America's gone back into the 60s and 70s, bruv.
So-
Like, very easily.
So I'm going to jump in at this point. What about when the pressure gets involved and you get bounced through pressure, which in turn becomes bullying? I'll give context to this. Let's say, I'm going to use Wiley, because Wiley is a pressure guy. And Wiley turns around and says, today, I'm going to dive off the 10-meter board. And if you don't dive off the 10-meter board, your mum. All of a sudden, even though I can't swim,
I'm doing it.
it can't be my mum. Because everyone else, you know, Speedy's got the Speedy goggles.
The Speedos.
And
Phillips goggles.
And he's wearing Speedy's
You wear Speedies as well.
shorts. Speedos. Right. So Speedy's wearing his Speedos, right? Sirelli is out there in his Bermuda shorts and snorkel. Big J is in his mankini, right? All of a sudden, I'm standing there terrified. However, I feel now obliged
You have to jump in.
to jump in. Because all of a sudden, when everyone jumps in, Buddy goes first, innit? And says, it's not my mum.
Yay! Survive, guys. I'm okay.
The splash is bigger because
I was about to say.
it was a little... He
Why-
went
why-
long team splash.
Why are you trying to listen?
But,
1 second.
so we're now saying, Buddy's jumped in. Do you know what I mean? There's 4 people left. I don't know when it's my turn. I do not want to do this.
So you go
However,
before the last man.
it can't be
Can't be my mum.
my mum.
Can't be my mum.
So you just go before the last person.
Nah, bruv.
But if you are terrified because I have a phobia of water. This is where it transfers into bullying because you need to be strong enough to turn around and say, I'm going to finish. You need to be strong enough to turn around and say, I don't want to do this.
So, hold on a second. So, you can look at it two ways. A, it's bullying, or B, it's pushing you to a level of uncomfortability, but it's allowing you to do something that on the normal day you'd have turned down.
Which is called bullying.
Well, the funniest thing is, I've been put in that situation before.
Well, you jumped off the 10-meter board?
Where the 10 meter, I jumped off a cliff. I ain't gonna lie. Done it before in Jamaica.
Idiot.
No, what it was, we was there, innit? All right? Never gonna forget. And the thing is, the funniest thing is, I can now sit there and say it was a great experience and I'm so glad I did it. And I was a bit younger, a lot younger.
So,
all right?
What we should take away from this is we should bully you into situations all the time.
And they make me do it. And then all of a sudden, I might kill myself. But, no, we was in Jamaica and it was jumping off the cliff
Rick's Cafe.
Sorry?
Rick's Cafe.
It weren't Rick's Cafe. It was a more dangerous one than that.
Wow.
Rick's Cafe is a standard one. But we went somewhere. It was nearish. It was in Ochi. I remember it was in Ochi. And I've still got the video, funny enough. And my missus at the time, her cousin...
Her partner.
Really said her partner.
Yeah.
One second. Wait, what?
Yeah.
1 second. No. Her cousin,
My missus and her partner.
Wait. Her cousin jumped off. Like, yeah, I wanted to do this. This is what I came here for. Jumped off. It was some cliffy, there was rocks everywhere. Jumped off. Yeah. Psh. Right, that looked great. Came back up. Yeah, I want to do it again. Are you going to do it, babe? Huh? Me? Why?
I still don't see
Was
bullying
the
it.
cousin a dude?
Yeah. I looked over the edge.
And the cousin called you babe?
No. This is my missus telling me this now. Saying,
Oh,
are you going to do it? And I looked over the edge and I was like, boy, rah. And she had two of her other cousins were there.
Were they locals?
No, they both live in England. They all live in England. We all went together in it. And her other two cousins, one boy, one girl. The girl was like, I'm not doing it. Let me sit down. My missus at the time, I'm not doing it. I'm sitting down. I'll watch you guys. One cousin, boy cousin, did it. I was like, cool. Other boy cousin said, boy, you know, man ain't doing that. Are you doing it? I'm looking like, rah, looking at my missus like, rah. I can't remember what was said, but I remember back in
I would have done a front flip.
Bruv,
I now have to outdo everyone.
I'm running from the car.
And then, yay!
Period. Double backflip.
Toe loop.
But and this is the thing. Why did I? This is me now. I backed off the top, jumped into the water. Bow. Sarah. Yeah. I'm cool. Let's do it again. I'm cool now. I'm a bad man.
I've already done it.
You know when somebody don't learn?
But I done it. All I cared about was I had to do it, so I did it, and I done it.
So you succumb to peer pressure.
But it was that's about what I was about to say. Peer pressure got to me. No, I don't know if it was peer pressure or just to say to myself, I want to be the masculine one. I want to be making sure that at the end of the day, I know she's not obviously, these are her cousins. These are actually her blood family, all right? But I had to turn and say to myself, well, I'm still the man in this situation, right?
Wait. Question. So you did this strictly off the hope that you were going to get somewhat super pum pum after that or something? There must be something to make you think to yourself, if I don't do this...
Man said super pum.
There must be... You know when you put things into maths, you sit there and you calculate this, you're like, if I don't do it, I'm going to look bad. But if I do it, I'm going to get some super pum pum or something's going to happen to make it worthwhile.
There wasn't a case of me thinking, super pum pum or anything like that. But I'll be very honest.
Wiley, what is super pom pom, please?
I have no idea.
Brother,
He's making...
it's when your pubes go straight and your toes curl.
Bro, it was more a case of, if I'm very honest, it was more a case of, like, I just felt to myself, maybe it was a masculine thing. At the time, I couldn't even tell you. It was so many years ago.
This is really bad to let out to the public, you know.
I couldn't care less.
Everybody who knows you now are going to be on, I've got Buddy's digits now. I'm just going to put him...
No.
Yeah, I don't think that's bullying, though. I think that's... Because you weren't bullied into it. You weren't... I think that's just more to do with peer... I don't even have to see even peer pressure. I think it's
that
just
was peer pressure. It was more peer pressure.
I think it's more the fact that you wanted to try and prove your masculinity because you felt it was being questioned. because you weren't doing it, and you have to prove it to your woman. Because if your woman says do something, you have to be on a thing of like, you know what, I'm the guy, I'm your man. I have to prove I'm your man, and I've got to do it.
But it's against her cousin. It's not like it was against her ex.
Yo.
Yeah, I don't think that's bullying
Listen.
though. Don't think that's bullying.
I'm not gonna be the one. 3 hours later, around the dinner table, yo, Citrus never jumped into the pool.
But the thing is,
Go and get everyone.
Yo.
Go and get everyone a drink.
But Citrus, you have to remember, he wasn't the only one. There were 2 other people that didn't do it, right?
Both female.
One female, no, 4. There was 2 females, the missus and her cousin.
And one dude.
And the one dude, which is also her cousin, he never did it.
So you'd have been in good company.
But he was known to not want to do them type of things. He ain't on it. He's like.
So was he the buddy of...
The buddy? Wait. Which situation have you ever been in that I have never backed? Exactly.
Bro, I got floating leaves that can testify.
Bants. So you was coming up to that in a bit. But Bants, all right, I'll
Got
take that
names.
one. I'll take that
Got
one.
dates. Got times.
But,
Shut
okay.
up, we got flowers that have got backs feet.
Need that? Sometimes don't you need clarity?
No, you don't need
Clarity?
it. No, you don't
What's
need
the
it.
clarity?
All right.
It might happen. Wait, I'm going to finish. It might happen, but I'm not saying you need it because, like, one of my closest friends supports one of my enemy's teams. I mean, that's what it is. So there comes a point, if our teams play each other and
We're not
his team
friends.
wins, during the match, I'll be like, rah. I won't say nothing, right? If his team wins, he don't say nothing to me, and vice versa, I don't say nothing to him. However, there are other people that support his team that are like, your team's shit, and you're shit because you support a shit team, and I'm just here. Luckily, my closest friend that supports your team don't talk to me like that, so I'm not gonna accept your nonsense virtually because you feel you've got access to me that way. So I'm not going to give you the rise. However, if it's in a group like MT and then your team gets beat 8-0
Bruh.
and then all of a sudden,
7 though, but it's fine.
yeah, your team gets beat 7-0 or whatever their score is, all of a sudden the man them in the group are like, bro, do you want to talk about football today? And we don't talk about football in this group. But because, you know I'm telling the truth, bruv. And then when these things come out, it's like, rah, no. Certain men don't want to talk. And at that point, there's bants. However, I know there's certain men who are looking through glazed, teary eyes, responding back. Now, those on the other side of the phone don't know that Buddy has taken this to heart. Because my team ain't meant to lose like this. So at this point, he might smile and laugh it off on the face of the group chat, but actually, he feels victimized, bullied, and not only is he getting ripped in the group, there are people like DMing him, there are people turning around and like, yo, let me phone him up. Yo, bro.
How you feeling today?
What one for your life, bro? 7-Eleven. Wait, what's that? And then he's now in it, not just him, but I'm just saying the person's now in a position where it's like, this ain't even funny no more. Do you get? So that's when the bants can easily cross the line.
So
Virtually in the cyber world.
I see where you're coming from.
And Wiley is admin in a group, whereas
where he's a bully.
no, he had to regulate some of the bullies.
So
Like,
I'm
going to explain. I'm going to bring him in before we get to you. And in regulating some of the bullies, he then effectively stepped in line to take the shots of the person that was being bullied. Because he said, as an observer, to say, even though it's not me, I'm not going to observe this. A lie,
No, it's not a
Wiley.
lie at all. You know,
So please share.
as an admin, and the thing is, I'm adminning about maybe
100.
probably, but yeah, listen, it's about 25 groups, bruv. It's not even a joke. I'm in about over 100 groups, but I'm
So
adminning
anybody
about-
out there, if you're not in a group with Wiley, you're nobody.
You're nobody.
You're nobody.
The thing is, there's in a lot of groups you have a lot of strong personalities, and just in life you have strong personalities, and the issue can be not everyone is as strong, or some people can put out a front of being strong, And that's what it comes down to, is that you have to have people that are willing to regulate, I suppose is the best way to put it, because people will be making all kinds of negative terminologies, personal comments about people. I've had people making racist comments. I've had people making comments where they want to meet up and fight each other. Serious things. And the thing is, you'd think a virtual WhatsApp verbal group would not lead to people saying, you know what, let's meet up and fight.
Especially, Wiley, when it's amongst friends and friends of friends.
Exactly.
So the respect level, we didn't expect it to get to that point.
No.
Sirelli, I'm going to come to you, and then, Buddy, I want you to switch it up.
So I've got a few things with that. First of all, if the group is a football group.
No, it's not necessarily a football group.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
No. The
Just
incident I was
say it's
talking
WhatsApp
about was directly from a football group. However, it's not just... It happened in our empty podcast group when we first set it up.
Okay, fair enough.
And we had to delete a guy.
I don't want
down
to
to his
go
views.
too wide because the net, you cast the net out and you can catch everything. But to me, if it's a football group, for the purpose of this conversation, you're expected to hold bands. That's almost like the underlying purpose of that.
On whose culture?
If it's about football, if it's about a competitive sport, if it's about something where you take pleasure in winning over somebody else, you expect there to be bands.
No, bro.
Sorry.
No.
No disrespect.
Yeah.
I know that you're not a sportsman like that. You can't understand or the gravity of it. It's like me talking.
So what's the point of winning then?
Wait,
if you cannot then gloat or enjoy your win,
I'm
not calling you my woman, all right? But I will sit there and say to you, this, I feel like I'm talking to my missus now, saying, I love Liverpool. And she's like, no.
That's bants.
Your woman's got a bed like this.
No.
This is bants.
No. But I'm saying you can't understand the gravity of
Man, he's talking to his deep voice woman.
No. Because
I'm telling her while she strokes her bed.
Yeah.
But you can't understand the gravity of how certain people feel about their football clubs and how they feel. So when someone turns and they attack your football club, all right, and you're sitting there going, no. It's like you want to go, it's only 11 men that's playing football. Why do you care?
It's kicking.
It's the... I don't want to hear
It's kicking a leather ball around. It's only made of cow skin.
It's only a sport. Like, why do you... piss off. I don't even want to talk to you right now. Like, even now saying it is making me mad, thinking to myself, please don't get involved, because right now, I got Sirelli on the line, sitting there saying to me how crap my football club is because we lost 1-0 to a team that should have beaten us because of whatever, and it was a penalty and blah, blah. And you don't understand, and you're sitting there chatting crap. Go away. Do you want dinner now? Why are you not eating? Leave me alone. And that's how certain people feel. I'm not saying every...
Certain people
tell me something.
are called Buddy.
Isn't bands
Buddy
built
for
on the platform of it's a give and take? Are we saying that's not how it's built?
As we spoke about beforehand, Bants has to be in an arena where the person giving...
It can't be one-sided.
Can receive, but the person receiving can give. Now, if I'm not in a position to receive at that point, I need to be able to... No, those around me or those that are in the group need to be able to say, do you know what? Now may not be the time.
You know what, Citrus? I know you. I'm ever so slightly broken. That is utter and total bullshit. And he has felt the Citrus wrath of...
Why me?
Brother, because there's been times when you've been sensitive, bud, and you're sitting there going on, and he's going off, and he's like, well, brother, you know what? I don't really give a shit. Why does everybody else have to pander their feelings just because you're sensitive today? And he will say, I don't care.
When does this ever happen?
This don't sound like me.
He
Definitely don't sound like me.
looked you in your eyes and said, I do not care.
So I'm going to go back to the original point. Is there are certain things where I said at the beginning, if like Wiley and Buddy support the same football team, right? And if it goes, but Wiley would wear the kit or uniform, and all right, cool.
Buddy would wear the work
It's
uniform.
fine. So it's fine. But so naturally,
That's Bants there.
Somebody got to Liverpool.
Blatant bants.
That's Bants there.
Blatant bants, because it's fine. It's always with me. Always with me.
He's
bro.
showing his tattoo of the badge.
Thank you.
know,
It's
that's
always-
what he's
You know what?
always-
If
it's
it
always
wasn't
with
as
me.
dark as he is, I probably see it.
Alright.
on his, all right,
So
sorry,
that's
sorry,
also
sorry.
bad.
All right, so
As
bad.
I say,
We're still in band.
also bad.
It's still banned.
What is that?
It's still
True, you're
banned.
not really black, but it's fine
go
though,
on.
bro. It's
Go on.
fine.
Okay,
Go on.
okay. I got the chocolate skin.
Go on.
But
not chocolate.
what I would say, dark chocolate, milk chocolate, tomato.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get sold, I get sold. It's fine.
I mean, we
Well,
can
I'm
talk
gonna
about where your
keep
slavery
going.
came
I'm gonna
from.
keep going. What it comes down to is ultimately with that, I know how Buddy and Wiley feel about their football team. I know that. So if their team gets to a Champions League final and gets beat 5-0, I'm not phoning them and saying, your team's shit. Speedy is busted up in the corner.
Because he's probably phoning me up. And I'm saying,
I'm not phoning. Do you know why? Because Buddy and Wiley are not talking to me for about 3 weeks. If that, it's not happening. So I'm not going to rub him up in that way, knowing that's not the thing. Don't get me wrong. There are times when sensitive Bud is in the room and I'll be like, how sensitive is sensitive? Do you get what I mean? Is it hot water in a bath on your ball sack sensitive? How sensitive is sensitive? Like, where are we? Do you know what I mean? So there are certain things that if you've
But when the man is
underpinned-
sensitive all the time.
no, because he's not. There are certain times, like, if Buddy's team loses and I need to talk to him, I ain't phoning him for about 2 to 3 hours. I send him a message, yo, bro, shout me. So when he's got through his feelings, he'll be like, yo, bro, we said to call you. Yeah,
And
are
then you
cool?
start laughing.
No, I don't laugh even
Don't
then.
laugh with me,
I'll
bruv.
say, are you cool? He'll be like, yeah. Anyway,
really
I had to
free.
ask you this question. Give me the answer. Look after your life. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Then I'll say, bro, I watched the game, you know.
I don't want to talk about
What's your analysis? Do you know what I mean? He'll then give you what he thinks and rare. This is me managing sensitive bud, right? Cool. However, I'm going to put all of that nonsense and Sirelli antagonism
Yes.
on the
yes,
shelf.
Yes.
We ain't got a long time left.
And we've got a couple
What
more
about
things.
bants and bullying in a relationship?
You know what?
Ah, he went there. That's what
There was something I wanted to touch on to that you was joking about it, but it's actually very much a real thing.
Wiley.
Colorism. Colorism was effectively when you was growing up. When I was growing up, was bants. People was and I could talk about colorism. I could talk about
How long have we got? What's our time scale?
yeah. We got time. We got time,
33
man.
minutes.
Listen. It can be a part 1, part 2, part 3,
All
whatever.
I'm saying is I'm speaking to Jay.
Yeah.
Jay's got the captain's armband on, you know that?
Yeah, he's got
and
the
he's steering the ship. So I'm going to follow, like, if he got iceberg,
Listen.
and just crash us into the rhythm.
Jay will fling off his cap and just to say, let's go. Let's go. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about
And
it.
Speedy will swim halfway across.
And save us all.
No,
And save us all.
Swim halfway back
alone.
Say it, got it, and swim halfway back like, yo, you got it, yeah?
But
good.
to touch on to what you were saying, colorism, because
So wait. How are we doing this? Because
We have a relationship.
we're
then-
going to go, it's got colorism, and
Yeah.
I want to talk about relationship.
yeah,
Buddy?
Yeah, I'm with the relationship thing.
I think that those two will take us up to the
Yeah.
All right, cool. So
Because-
I'm going to let you lead.
colorism is something, and for those who may not know what colorism was effectively goes
I would
about.
say is.
Yeah, it's basically, and I would say because it's not just only black people, you know. This also happens with the Asian community as well.
community, yeah,
but let me just use the black community because I know it from the black community, which was those of fairer skin were viewed more favorably than those of darker skin. So when I was growing
So
up,
on scale,
Yeah.
have I got fairer skin than you?
yeah,
So I'm viewed more favourably than you are.
you would be.
No,
depending
yes
what
or no?
culture.
no, what culture,
You would be
what
in
times.
certain cultures and
Yes.
stuff. You would because if you go,
So I'm better than you.
if you go to,
I'm just trying to understand the
Alright,
scale.
All right, let me give you an example.
Depends on
then.
what culture.
If you go to somewhere like the Caribbean, or if you go to somewhere like the Caribbean, or somewhere like West African countries, they would more likely have.
I'm not
people who were-
gonna accept just West African
Well,
countries.
I'm only speaking
From
from
your
my
knowledge-
experience.
knowledge
So I don't
base.
want to cast it
Okay,
onto
okay.
other areas
No
where
problem.
it may not be the case. But in certain countries, they would have people of a fairer complexion in the front of the banks, in the front of customer services, because they wouldn't want to put them in front, and those who have darker skins at the back. Then obviously you had kids growing up who was witnessing that, and that was also the case over here. And the colorism would be, oh, you're dark skin, so the bants would be on dark skinned people versus fairer skinned people, or fairer skinned people versus dark skinned people. Now, if you look at it on a bantering scale, if you're all bantering, that could be fine. But some people had long-lasting effects from that. So in terms of, it's funny because you two was having the conversation bantering, but that actually, and I'm not saying it was bantering because you both were giving as you were taking it. But if you go back, that actually leads to a bigger conversation of where that all stemmed from, because it was something when I was growing up, certainly it was a big thing. I mean, I could go into West African, Caribbean, that then as well. But if I talk about just solely colorism, that was a big thing. That was a major bantering thing that people thought was also bullying.
I'm going to say something. I never noticed my complexion until I was in my late teens.
Snap.
I didn't realize that myself,
what shade
and Buddy
you were in it?
and Wiley and Relly were different colours. Like, I was just oblivious.
Okay.
I didn't understand it. All I realised is you got light skin, and light skin were black people that look, I was gonna say such a racist term.
Oh, say it.
Mixed race.
No, say the term
Because there's half-caste podcast.
this is the thing, because half-caste only became a racial term probably, I say in the 2000s.
Okay, but that's a different.
You know what? I don't want to lose what you just said, because there's an important point. I want to jump into something you just said.
Let me finish what you're saying.
No, there's a question I wanted to ask on something you just said. To Buddy, when did you become noticeable about your complexion? Because you said when you was in your late teens, when did you become noticeable?
About my complexion?
Yes.
I've always known about being
But
dark
when did you notice? All right, I knew about me being dark skinned from when I was in infant school. So when you're saying you learned in your late teens, the reason I was asking Buddy, as someone who's also of a darker complexion,
same thing.
is because if you're not getting the negative terminology to you,
You're not gonna
notice it. That's why I wanted to ask Buddy
because
point.
for me it was just pants.
Yeah.
But to someone probably darker, it was
more personal.
probably bullying.
That's what
Let's
I'm
be
saying.
fair.
Sorry, you were saying.
Jump in.
Sorry,
I accept that.
apologies. But you know when you say dark skin as well?
Yeah.
There is actually a darker tone to I mean, I'm a little bit lighter than yourself, all right? And there's a darker tone to yourself.
Yes, there is.
And
The
so
blue-black.
No, but when he says it, I'm looking at you and thinking, well, I mean, you're about a shade or... I mean, if we were to do shades, it was obviously, for me, it's yourself, Kim, myself, and then
me.
Wiley. All right? That's how I would do the...
Can we rate it like first, second, third, fourth? So I can.
Well, I would do it backwards. Fourth,
Third,
second,
second, first.
I mean...
I will talk. You know what I wanted to add on to that as well. I'm not going to name the person because I don't want to name the person because I don't think it'll be fair to. But I went to school with a very famous supermodel, famous dark skin supermodel, darker than
Naomi
me,
Campbell.
darker than me, who was from East Africa and came as a refugee, but she went through hell and high water because of her complexion. Growing older, her complexion was something that was celebrated. And it's what got her the modelling work. So it's you know what I mean? It's mad when we're talking about
Time has changed, hasn't it?
that. Yeah,
No, but I mean, there's so many levels to it. But I do like your question phrasing, and for me, when I say I didn't notice my complexion, and it's not like even with my siblings that we're the same complexion, because we're not. Do you know what I mean? However, it was only when like shout goes out to my bedroom Ibi, right?
yes, yeah.
Ibi is a Nigerian guy. Ibi is dark skinned, and he's like, you can't get sweeter than me. Right? This was his line, and in my head I was like, dickhead. However, I realized 1 second, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. And he was like, you can't get sweeter than me. I was like, yo. He took it and then celebrated it.
And turned it into a positive.
He celebrated it. I was like, bro, when am I going to start to tan? Because this thing ain't working. Do you get what I mean? Now, I get it, but to me, I didn't see myself at an earlier stage being lighter than him. Because in my family, you've got mixed race. Do you know what I mean? That are a black-white combination who are the Simpsons yellow.
Were they bantered about their complexion?
No,
No.
because they are fair-skinned, they got nice hair, they got pretty skin, blah, blah, blah. So they were held in a different category league, if you get what I mean.
Yep.
So they were like the untouchables, and then I was in this phase, and then there was the black. If you're a black, you just got
black.
you just got whatever
You got the banter,
You just
which
got the
could
banter
effectively
edge.
be the bullying, yeah.
right, which was and to be fair, it was the untouchables, the banter, and the bullies. Do you get that was the phase. So if an untouchable stepped to the banters would deflect to the bullies or to the bullyings, and the bullyings would just get bullied. And everyone was like, oh yeah, you're still that one. So I very, very, very quickly understood the hierarchy, but I didn't see myself outside of the hierarchy. Do you get what I mean?
Yep.
Now, it's only when you now observe life, and then even if we're going to take the vain Western society model, and it went through, if you're light skinned, you're pretty. If you're dark skinned, you're ugly. And then they're going to turn around and give you the darkest model who's drop dead gorgeous. Flawless skin, beautiful features. You're like, yo, we can't even stand next to her. So now it's flipped the whole scale on its head. Do you know what I
what's
mean?
funny? So when you were going through that phase, we kind of identified saying that we didn't realize until we're in our teens. I fall into that category because on my family, most of my family are much fairer than me. And I'm talking like in the Caribbean, St. Lucia in particular, they'll call them Shabin or Bin. So I had an aunt called Bin, and she was very, very light-skinned with freckles. Now, the funny thing is, on the other side of my family, because that was on my dad's side of the family, on the other side of the family, it was almost seen the other way around to your situation. So the darker you were, the better your food was. You know how to cook. The lighter you were, your chicken don't taste as good. You don't season the fish quite right. Do you know what I mean? It was that kind of...
Still seen that way now.
Raw.
You know this, bro.
Raw. There's the bullying that we were talking about, yeah? This is the bullying we're talking about. So for me, it was the other way around. It was, if you want a good food, you need to go to the auntie who's dark-skinned. She can throw down. She'll give you some stewed chicken with some dumplings that they're so big you can only handle half of one, and she'll put some hard food on that. She'll give you the homemade coleslaw, and she'll deal with everything. So for me, I got it the other way around. So it's weird because also my kids, they tease me about it now. They're like, yeah, Dad, you're the light-skinned one. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then my daughter is lighter than me. And she's like, but look. And then my son is darker than me. So we have this kind of banter where we tease each other and whatnot. And my son's now embraced his darkness. And yeah, I'm the dark one. I'm the real black man. You're the... So we have that kind of thing going on.
That's a lot to do with the times, though, as well. Like,
And times have changed, isn't it?
Yeah.
And positions have changed. Do you get what I mean? And that's what I think is important. And now, to celebrate and embrace black, I think is important from our point of view.
So there's some comments about that on the live. So why
Let's
do you
do
want
some
to...
comments and then we're over to Buddy.
Yes. Shouts out to Little Miss Attitude. She says light skin back in the day was classed as sweet boys. And
Absolutely.
Soul Walker 75 says light skinned privilege. So it's interesting. It was all about. It was very much the comments you were making earlier was very much where I was picking it up from. But it's funny when you now look at the whole situation of that to now, it's totally changed because the whole way that it's all changed around now. People can't be negative and take the negatives and go that way. So I think what it's now gone with is that the negatives of the banter of back in the day has been turned into positives. And the point I was trying to make was banter then has become a positive that they're using forward now. Sorry, Citrus, I know you wanted to jump onto relationships.
So I beg you just shut the hell up over there, right? I've always got you, fam, on a flower thing. Super Mario! Right, Citrus, run it. Don't laugh, just run it, just run it.
All right, cool. So I'm going to bring it to a little bit more reality. Because like from the podcast, we need to make sure that people at least learn a something. Do you get what I mean? And one of the things where I think cyberbullying really takes place with us is things like WhatsApp chats.
Jeez.
Because WhatsApp chats, you can get bullied for supporting Liverpool.
Excuse me.
Or buddy.
But they
You can
deserve
get
it, though,
bullied
innit?
for supporting Liverpool and not living in Liverpool. You can get bullied for supporting Arsenal and Arsenal haven't won the league or the Champions League and blah, blah, blah. You can get bullied for supporting Team X and it's not your local team, or it is your local team, but your team's shit and blah, blah, blah. So there comes a point where you get exposed because you may, from your beliefs, stand different from the norm. And when you stand different from the norm and you voice that you're different from the norm, because you're not with the majority, you become the minority, and the majority versus the minority is like chasing the victim with the pitchforks and the fire torches through the village.
But don't you
get-
necessarily sometimes...
So now, and I think it is about just understanding the difference. Do you know what I mean? And there's a big difference to understand. And that's where we've had to navigate. Do you get what I mean? So when we look at society and we think to ourselves, where are you? Are you here? Are you there? Are you there? It's now understanding that there's a movement to celebrate whatever black you are. Do you know what I mean? So no matter what black you are, we're going to celebrate that. And understanding that I'm now not going to banter you to be darker than me or lighter than me because we are all in the same category. And as soon as we group together, the banter line and the bullying line merged. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get them, yeah. And the thing is, so I've got members of my family, and then you get but are you actually black though? Only because their heritage is divided and split. I've got French,
Brother, we
and
got this
Asian.
in the eMpTy podcast.
But
Why are you looking at Wiley for?
because Wiley says that he's a thoroughbred.
Yeah, man, tell you about. He can tell you his last 14 ancestors, and by the way, we still have those
Yep.
ancestry DNA
Gotta do
things.
it.
That's
Gotta
what's
do it.
happening here, you know.
But, buddy,
So, all right. So we done with color. Now we need to do within a relationship. And what we mean by
wait, colour in a relationship? Or,
no, bruv.
oh,
We're talking about
Banter,
banter
bullying
and
in a relationship.
within a relationship.
bro, tell me you're not getting bullied in your relationships.
Do you know-
Enough men are
I'm
getting
good.
bullied.
All right.
Enough men are getting bullied.
But enough men are getting bullied. But then
But is it only just about man getting bullied?
women are getting bullied as
What
well.
about women getting bantered?
But this is the thing.
I'm only joking, babe.
What's the line between
And
banter and
TikTok is the
bullying?
worst one. The amount of things you see some women holding on TikTok as bans.
So my question is, because I think, and maybe the ladies on the live can jump in and give us a bit of clarity. I don't think men have as much license to banter women as women do men.
Whoa. Like,
I think women get more I don't want to say privilege. Privilege ain't even the right word. Women have more leeway to banter their man than a man can banter a woman.
Yeah, when a woman's saying it's not bans, brother.
No, but what I'm
when a
saying
woman says no, it means no, bro.
no.
Yeah, I was about to say this banter thing. You got it wrong, bro.
No,
It ain't banterous, no.
no. My point is to say that I think men, if they're bantering a woman in a relationship, it's going to be a lot more negatively taken than if a woman is bantering a man.
Because when a woman says it, she's saying it from a point of the truth. If your woman comes home and says, you look like a big toe today, go and look in the mirror.
But
She's not saying
that's
it
not
as...
necessarily the banter, though. To be
No,
fair,
I'm just using it. I'm saying, so for me...
do something that is more, and I'm doing this deliberately. Do something that's more sexualized.
Wait.
No. Let him ride. Let him ride first. Let him ride first.
I don't think it'll be on that. It'll be, for me, when I look at it, the experiences that I've heard and seen, it's more to do with things like my friend's boyfriend or my friend's partner, he cooks every day after work, or he takes them out somewhere, or he's doing this. Or
We go restaurant twice a week. We do this, we do that, we do the other.
This doesn't sound like banter.
Your dry ass
This isn't
just,
banter.
just about washes out the bath.
This isn't banter.
A lot
This
of
isn't
it's-
banter.
Are you a Yeti? Why is there so much hair in the bath?
I'm gonna help
Let me
you
give
out.
you some banter. Let me give you some banter.
No way. I'm gonna help you out. You say it's not banter, but what happens when it's been told to your mum? And not you. So
At the Christmas dinner table.
and at that
But
point,
let me give something realistic. This is what I'm trying to do.
This is realistic,
Wait,
bro.
wait, wait.
But I don't believe this is realistic.
So are we just talking and you're just gonna just not accept?
Write it.
All right. So I'm gonna turn around and share when there are conversations that are taking place amongst your family, and you may or may not be aware. And they said, when Buddy does this, rare. Or when Wiley says that, blah, blah, blah. Or when Sirelli does this, boom, bam, boom. All of a sudden, yo, babe, what was that all about? I was only joking.
Buddy's
Oh,
so
but-
useless, he can't even hang a picture. We bought a picture on holiday and it's still in the corner.
This is banter. So go on.
Wait, no, it's banter to who, though?
But this is what I'm trying
You're
to
at
say.
the dinner table
But bullying
and
banter.
she's
This
looking at you.
this is more
Bruv,
realistic.
and
She's looking at you, your mum's sitting there, your brother's sitting there.
And then your mum says, I knew he was useless since he came out my womb.
Why don't you ask your ex to put it up for you?
Who's doing the banter there? That's mum's, right?
All your ex, because at least he has a drill.
So,
All
You're sitting
now
in the
we're,
corner.
now we're going with the banter.
You're holding a piece of turkey.
Here we go.
Wait, talking about drill, why ain't you lot got no kids yet? All right, so all of a sudden...
This is the banter now. This is what I'm trying to talk to.
Wait,
bro.
Brother,
you're
it's-
turning around and saying banter until you can't accept it anymore. So
Your brother's got 3 kids, your sister's got 4,
This is your mum doing banter on you with your missus.
however,
and your missus is looking at you. Yeah, I know.
I know I'm not even taking the pill, and I'm on amino acids. 1 second.
Mum, can you give us one of those remedies from back home? Maybe you can get him to drink something.
Jeez, uncle.
I think the thing that I'm taking from it, or what I'm saying from it, is that when you're having
the quiet voice of reason.
listen, because you're,
Do you know what people this is actually affecting right now?
Bro, you know what you're listening now? Relationships, yeah? Relationship bants. Oh, shit.
Because what I'm trying to get at is that you're talking about the woman. I'm taking it, the woman doing the bants on the guy, yeah?
In this circumstance, yeah.
But do you think that the guy could run the same? Because that's quite heavy bants, yeah. Could run the same heavy bants on the woman, and it would be accepted in the same way. So when you're talking about, okay, you can't use a drill, you can't use this. You know what? Listen, man, her cooking's terrible. You know,
It happens.
You can't cook for nothing. I know it happened. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying does it happen. I'm saying,
Wiley,
do you think
Wiley,
it's accepted in the same way?
What about the whole, right, you try and cook, but you can't cook like my ex?
No one ain't saying that.
But no.
If your mother doesn't like her.
Right.
It's just bants.
But
Why
he-
don't your mum eat my stewed chicken? Because she says you don't wash your chicken properly. It's just bants. Or
Bants, though.
it's
But do you think
It's just
but-
Christmas dinner, she says everybody is potluck. Everybody bring a dish.
1 second.
However, the dish your missus brought, your mum cooks the exact same dish as well.
no.
but do you
I'll help
think-
you out.
but do you-
you know when your
one
mum
second.
don't eat?
They got enough pants.
Wait,
now,
who made
all
that?
of a sudden.
Who made that?
But
Cherry. Okay, Cherry, it's fine. I bought my own dumplings. Do you know what I mean? Mum's taking dumplings out her own Tupperware that she bought in her big ass wicker. You know the wicker bags? The Caribbeans have the wicker bags. We used to take them seaside. I don't know what else they're called. But the little woven bags, she just takes a little thing out and then mum's eating that because she don't trust your people them's cooking. Or your mum saw your missus's mum lick the cat when the cat licked her. So now she's not on thing. Oh, why did your mum do that? Oh, it's just jokes.
You're bringing up a lot of things that are to do
It's
with...
buddy. Bruv, don't AKA the truth and then tarnish me.
I'm not tarnishing you, bro.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of bants that...
Wait, but before you go on, let Mr. Boom.
because what I'm trying to get at before we go down the rabbit hole of the different scenarios is, do you think men can do that easier than women? I think women can do it easier than men. I think women can say those sorts of things in a relationship and get away with it more than a man can. And I think society allows for that.
I think in the right circumstances, if it's around family and your mum has a somewhat unhappy view of you,
Take
Yeah, you go on.
take aside a specific scenario.
Yeah,
making
yeah, yeah.
Making it a broader
No,
picture.
as a broad stroke, I definitely think from my age where I am now, if my missus turns around and throws bants at me,
In front of your
I'm
family.
gonna throw bants back, but I'm gonna just hold back. I'm not using the.
Even if
I'm not
she
using-
lends you back.
So let's link it with something. So your mum's sitting there.
I might finish what I'm gonna say, or bants with the rest of you, man. So I might turn around and leng something back. However, I'm not gonna leng a shot with the same velocity that this shot came to me at. I'm just gonna leng one back to say,
So she smashes it.
and I'm gonna say, this one missed the head top.
So you're just gonna give a little backhand.
Just so you can be aware, if I want to, I could. I'm just not going to. To give the warning shot to say it's fine.
And then she
However,
returns it again.
Pardon?
She returns it again.
You know,
Yeah. Another shot.
It's-
Straight to the forehead.
it's gone. However, I'm gonna bring my brother in because he's trying to.
No, I was going to give you a realistic one. So your woman says you're eating dinner, or you're eating dinner with your boys or whatever else not, and they turn and say, like someone says that you can't cook, basically.
Okay.
And your woman then comes back to you and turns and says, well, basically you're bantering about your cooking.
Okay.
Are you now going to turn and banter back and turn and say, well, you can't cook? Or are you going to banter and say nothing? What are you going to do? Are you going to fight the banter, or are you just going to continue with the banter?
That's dead.
Personally, I'm not.
No, you're saying it's dead.
I'm sorry,
So
brother.
are you going to say something back?
Personally, I'm not going to say anything back because I'm not about embarrassing my partner in front of my friends.
But he's saying the banter, I'm going to shoot back. So I'm using a cookie.
Yeah, but I understood what he's saying. He's saying she would come with a heavy shot for him. He would not come back with the same velocity. And that's the point I was trying to make, was that I think society allows it that women will be able to have, in a relationship, or maybe not in a relationship, can banter men, and men are more likely to have to accept it.
Some men.
But no, I'm saying society. Forget
Why do you have to accept it?
I'm saying society. Forget about individuals. I'm saying how society views it all is that men have to accept it more than a woman does. Because
I agree.
A woman can talk about your looks, and you got to take it as a joke. But you talk about a woman's looks. Remember, a women's main, I don't want to say selling point, I suppose, but how society views it is their looks. Right. So you start talking about women's looks now, you're seeing a lot more negative.
I'm with you, Wally.
So that's what I was trying to.
You can say your woman. You can't say your woman looks butters, but your woman can say you look like a monkey, and that's fine.
I'm saying society has it in that way.
I'm gonna let you lot have this conversation because I'm way too sensitive for anyone telling me.
Butters, bruv.
Kojak. Me.
Yo,
And the worst thing is, it'll be from your woman who's with you, and then she's calling you butters as well. Your brain cells are fighting each other in your head. You're just...
and you're not going to respond, Wiley. So one second. Let's just get this right. Wait. I'm going to go to Wiley first.
Yeah.
What are you saying, right? Wiley, your woman sits there and says, "You're butters, fam. You don't even look good in that."
You know what? I would run something back to her, but as Citra said, I'm not gonna go.
So are
for
you
a
dissing
headshot.
her back?
Not in front of my people, no.
No, you and your missus are getting ready to go to the
If
wedding.
we're talking about we're having jokes with each other in the home by ourselves, I would run a joke back.
Say she's butters back,
I would
man.
run a joke back.
privacy
In the privacy of your own home, yes. So if she did it in front of my people, then I wouldn't do that
So
back
she
to her in front
steps
of the
out of
people.
line now. She's there. She's drinking
What
too
do you mean
much
steps
yak.
out of line? What, she a little you?
She's drinking too much yak. So all of a sudden we've drank too much yak.
you know.
We're out, and we're around people
Is this
now.
camel yak or
Bro,
llama yak?
Let's just be real with it. We're drinking juice, innit? All right? And she's out now amongst your people. And she's like, yeah, Wiley, you're butters anyway, fam. All right? And your response is?
My response is going to be held when I get back home.
Sorry?
Because my response is going to be held when I get back home because I'm going to have a more serious response than having a... What I'm not going to do...
So you're not giving the bants back?
No, what I'm not going to do is have a public argument or whatever in public because I'm taking it offensively.
You know what? So you just get. That's mine. That's
Yeah,
my
and then when
response.
I get back home,
same as mine.
My
when I get back home, I will have that discussion and check it there.
And I'm walking away, and everyone's be like, "Ooh."
Your response.
Everyone's gonna know that.
That is, and
That
she,
one okay.
and she herself would also know that you know
Yeah,
what,
it's not
actually
okay.
there's as was said earlier, there's a line that's been crossed.
Okay. Really?
I'll be honest with you, bud. I'm not feeling this one at all. And the reason why that is because I cannot see or envision a situation where I'm sitting down with a group of people, be it my friends or my family, and my woman has drank too much yak and then responds in that way, for me to then say, in my sober mind, that there's a response I can give that would justify this. I'm one of those people, if the situation is too much, where I think, because I'm a little bit broken in it, yeah? Sirelli ever so slightly broken. So I don't have a gauge to be able to give equal and proportionate response to that. So my response is going to be 20 times, and it was like, whoa, bruv, she just said your head looks big. Why are you telling her about her granddad only had one eye and he got raped by a duck?
Because you're giving your reaction based on what is your level of your scale.
Because I don't have that gauge. I would just react. So for me,
what I said earlier.
I move out of the situation. That's my coping mechanism. If, as Citra said, me, I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it. I'm going to go get myself a drink. I'm going to take myself away because I don't have that gauge. That's me.
All right. Now, you're doing that based on the comment that I've just said. But take it into a comment that, for example, just doesn't agree with you. Like I've said, I'm talking about looks. Looks is anything. You know what I mean? In all essence and purposes, your missus is never going to turn and say you look like a freaking wildebeest. She's not going to diss you like that. So, however, she might turn and say something that just doesn't agree with
yeah, when I met him, he had a six-pack, but now he's a little bit of a fat boy.
He's a little bit, there we go. There's something. Or when I met him, he had long K-roll, now he's bald. I don't even know what baldheads are dead.
I used to run my hand through his hair, now I can just slap the back of his head.
Whatever it might be. So let's roll with that.
You're chatting shit. Now you got fat on your back. Don't flipping open up the team.
Are you gonna sit there and say that back to your missus?
Just don't. All I'm saying is don't leng a shot. Don't try and
This is what I like. I like citrus.
No, don't go for the headshot and not me, bruv.
But I'm saying
and
she
not
said that to you.
expect.
So you're gonna say that now you got fat on your back.
Backhand straight down the line. Bruv, let's not do that.
And this is what I can't do. I don't know how to gauge. Yeah, but your belly's bigger than mine now. I don't know how to then respond to that in a proportionate way.
In any situation, and I think, gents, we need to summarize. We've been on this for a little piece, so get your summaries together. But for me, and my missus, my children, my mum, my brethrens, they all know that I may not be the sharpest one, but you're going to get a response. The retaliation is on its way. And more often than not, it will come back in 0.2 seconds because my brain is going to pause time, analyze 50 different responses, do a survey with the rest of my brain, work out this one that we like the most, and then I'm going to link that back. This all happens when you haven't blinked your eyelids yet.
You're not thinking about people's thoughts, though, and how they feel.
I'm just going to just send one straight back. And at that point, you'll be like, don't you think it was inappropriate that you said that, blah, 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 blah? Maybe. However...
You don't care.
I thought this was a game.
Don't come after me when we're doing all of this because this is the banter versus bullying. Right. So, gents, I'm going to ask you to summarise, think about all the points we've discussed, think of your summaries, and then we're going to come back. So whilst you're doing that, I'm going to read the last of the
comments.
Points of the comments, and then we'll go from there, yeah? Okay. DJ Wileycat, big up yourself. Just here listening to all what's whilst making costumes for Notting Hill Carnival 2023. Shout goes out to DJ Chuck T. It's Tempo Mass UK. Shout goes out to Tempo Mass UK. Welcome, we'll see you on the road. Surge 3795. Black is beautiful. Shout goes out to Tempo Mars. All right, the teacher says, Wileycat DJ is right. A woman can get away with more banter about her hubs than he can with them in front of family. Let's not play that game. Little Miss Attitude said, women will be able to get away with commenting on a man's appearance a lot more than if it was vice versa. So Walker 75 says, women can definitely get away with it more. It's called societal privilege. Sorry. So Walker also said, also banter and bullying boils down to intent at times and perception. AI Brooklyn says your woman shouldn't ever embarrass her man like that in public. Big disrespect. She then got the CJ and Bun Highly Blessed saying, we agree with you. Someone could also drop 2 more bars. And the first one says, I just think it's important to read whatever room you are in and know whoever you are bantering with. Yes, this is the one I like. That one there. The one there. Know what arena we are in, because if you're laying straight for me and you get... What's the film where the guy dashes the bullets and the bullet goes round a tree and langs the person? Yeah, you get one of those. You ask for it. And So Walker 75's final point said, if it gets too much, just say something measured or just walk away before you say something you might not always be able to take back. And in summary, I'm going to come straight over to Sirelli.
I'm going to start. Yeah.
Why are you doing that? Why are you doing
Sorry.
that? I'm coming to
Because it
Sirelli.
bounced across to you.
Yeah.
To be fair, he said Sirelli, I said Sirelli. It's Sirelli.
Okay, we'll go with the bullying for today. This is not bands, this is bullying. Nah, so I would keep it very, very simple. It's very true. Know who your audience is. If you are not prepared, do not go to war. Don't turn up to a battle with the biggest gun but not have no bullets. Because there are people out there that give all the talk in it. But when it comes down to actually backing it, it's a different thing. Now, for me, like I said earlier, I'm one of those guys that my gauge in regards to response doesn't always line up. So I don't play that game. There are people that I bounce with and we will take it and water off a duck's back. For them, for me. There are people that I don't do it with because once we start to get to that level, it goes from you got a big toe to talking about your grandmother in 4 sentences. So I don't do it. Big up Cliff. So, and it's just one of those things. You have to be able to handle it. You've got to be able to manage it. You've got to be able to emotionally be strong enough to take it on board. So definitely understand my motto, which is don't put yourself in situations you cannot handle.
Wiley, boom.
Bullying and bantering are definitely first cousins. What you have to just have in mind, and I think I'm going to try and keep it as short as possible, is, as Soul Walker said, and as I said at the beginning, it's down to the perception of the person who is being spoken to. If they have taken offence to it, it's no longer banter. And once you take offence to something, effectively, you could say that you're being bullied. So that's what I always look at it as long as you're not offending somebody, it's banter. The minute it crosses the line of offence, it then can become bullying. And once that happens, if someone takes offence to it, be prepared for whatever their reaction is, because your measure of your reaction to your action is not going to be the same as theirs. And if that ends up, like I said before, with a punch in the face, it may be excessive to you, but it may be the norm to them in that scenario. So that's the way that I look at it. That's my summary.
Citrus.
Bun Highly Blessed yours says, like my honorary pastor always says, don't throw a stone that can be thrown back at you. If you're behind the scenes, everybody knew. I really like that. However, I'm just going to actually reiterate Wiley's point, and probably Relly's point to an extent. When it comes to bands, especially me and bands, I agree with Sirelli about the gauge. Don't ask me to take a moral compass if you've already passed my moral compass line. And that threshold could be a 1 out of 10 or could be a 9 out of 10. Just depends on how I feel at the time. And if I'm at a 1 and you fling a shot and I fling a 9 back at you and you're now in your feelings because I dash a 9 back at you, that's your business. Do you get what I mean? I don't know how to scale it.
Vicious.
It's not vicious.
Sorry, I should be laughing. This is your time.
Leave him.
No, I'm just trying to be honest. So there are certain times someone will say something to me and I'll respond back. And the response will come back immediately.
Like it was planned, innit?
And like there's a script.
Yeah.
And then Buddy's the worst guy. Because he'll look at me and be like, why?
And all of a sudden, he's the victim.
Why did you say that? And I'll be like, bro, did you not hear what they said? Yeah, but theirs was a 1, yours is a 9. And I'm like, to whose scale? Because there's no jury. So I'm just going to lend back how I feel it was appropriate. And if whatever I said back silence you, then it's all bants.
Milky bars on you.
Do you know what I mean? Shut up. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's bants. So with that, and what I like about my friendship group is we all kind of know if we're going to come after me or you or you or you, just understand what you're going to get back. So then when it comes to bants, certain men just get avoided. Because it's like, I don't want that smoke. Do you know what I mean? Anytime he says something and then I respond to it and then he says something back, I don't like it. So I'm just going to leave him at the beginning. He can say something, hardy ha ha, I'm out. Do you get what I mean? Fix your face, man. All right, that's me out.
That's you out, yeah. All right. So I'm going to leave my summary. I actually don't agree with Citrus at all. Or Sirelli about what they're saying. At the end of the day, banter can go too far. And knowing when to tap out is probably the most important thing. And a lot of people don't read or understand when to tap out within bands.
I'm not throw this mic out.
Yeah, throw the mic out. It's fine. All right? Because you're one of them. All right? You don't know when to say when. There's certain times where it touches a button on people and you've got to understand. And despite the fact that you're thick-skinned, the people on the lives, certain people on there might be thick-skinned, not everybody is. And I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, you know what? You don't might want to say, oh, because you're most sensitive person in the group, whatever. I'll take it. I'm fine with it, all right? But I'm sitting there saying to you, not everybody is as thick-skinned as you. And realizing that is actually a skill, you know what I mean? And not everybody can realize it. I mentioned earlier on in the podcast, and I said to you, there's been certain times that we've had conversations where I've looked yourself, Sirelli, in the eye, I've looked Citrus in the eye, and I've said to you, amongst us two probably having big arguments or conversations, and I've said to you, tell him type of thing. I've looked you in the eye to say, make him stop because he's going too far. And a lot of people don't understand when people do go too far. You know what I mean? There's racial bullying. There's obviously other types of bullying that are about. And we don't seem to see to ourselves, you know what, because this is my friend, I'm going to sit there and say to myself, it's okay, it's just jokes. It's not just jokes because I don't see it as jokes. You know what I mean? Or that person doesn't see it as just jokes. And understanding that, again, like I said in the beginning, is a skill. And not everybody's got that skill. And not even that art to realize themselves that person is hurting from that and how they're going to take it on board. And that's basically it. Bullying is something that causes so much stresses in people's lives. And it's such a serious topic, which is why I brought it to the table in the first place, to say people get bullied and they turn and kill themselves. And I said that earlier on. And they do other stuff. There's certain things that they stop eating. There's so many different things that people do depending on whatever the circumstances that they're getting bullied from that they do. We need to understand that. So there's banter and then there is bullying. We got to understand where is the point where you draw the line. You know what I mean? It's just jokes, bro. I've still got your back. It's just jokes, my girl. I've still got your back. Where people turn and feel pressured into doing certain things. So we brought up relationships. And we said about relationships being something where we didn't touch on it enough, I suppose, where people might even do sexual acts and so on and so forth because they feel pressured into doing it. Not because they want to do it, because they feel to themselves, well, you said that this was the best experience you had from your ex, so I'm going to now do it to you because that's something that you got from your ex and I feel I need to give that to you because I want you to want me. You know what I mean? I jumped off of a cliff, for example, all right, because I felt to myself, I want to show that I'm masculine. I'm more of a man than anybody else that you know because I'm the man. You know what I mean? So people do it to show their worth or to show just for pride. You know what I mean? So people have done things. I have done things like that. You know what I mean? So I'll sit there and say to myself, you know what? There is a very thin line between banter and bullying, and you've got to understand it and be able to control from the banter side of things, when do you say stop? This is enough. It's just jokes and we're cool. From the bullying side of things, bullying ain't cool, man. And I know we didn't touch on it enough, but bullying isn't something that I know everyone in the room well enough, and even the producer and Speedy who's in the corner, we're not down for bullying. And I have to make that loud and clear from the MT pod. Bullying is not something that we tolerate or will stand for, because bullying is something that I will sit there and I'll honestly get upset and say to myself, you know, I'm involved. I'm ready to back whoever's being bullied and say, you know what, let's get that person, let's get the bullier, because it's not something that I like. And I know that's a stance I can say from Citrus, I can say that from Sirelli, I can say that from Wiley, I can say that from Jay, and I can say that for Speedy. And I can say to myself, you know, we're not about that. And that's how I'll probably like to end it. Don't go out there and bully anyone, because you don't know what harm that you're putting on somebody else's life. So I'll end it there. Like, share, and subscribe to the MT podcast on the YouTube. We will be putting this out there so people can listen back to. This is me signing off. And if the glass ain't half empty, or the glass ain't full,
You're going to get bullied for this.
yes,
No
yeah,
bans.
this
Yeah?
is actually the
I'm
plan.
putting this out there. He will get bullied for this. No bans.
If the glass is...
And if the glass is not half full,
right.